SAP Datasphere. SAP Datasphere is a powerful all-in-one business data platform. It provides the technology foundation for creating a business data fabric, delivering meaningful data with context and logic to every user. It combines a flexible data fabric architecture with a robust platform for integrating multiple data sources, performing complex analysis, and modeling. While these capabilities offer valuable insights, the complexity of data integration and modeling can affect user experience. However, strategic design choices can ensure that SAP Datasphere performs optimally. This article shares best practices and tips to maintain smooth data flow, prevent performance problems, and enhance efficiency. It helps you set up your SAP Datasphere space, integrate data, and model effectively while encouraging creativity as a data engineer, modeler, or architect. Managing your Datasphere spaces. What is the space and what are the benefits? In SAP Datasphere, a space is a secure area set up by an administrator where members can handle data. It functions like a self-contained data warehouse, residing within the SAP HANA Cloud database, tailored for specific departments, line of business units, data domains, project teams, or individuals. Administrators are responsible for creating one or more spaces, managing memory and disk storage allocation, assigning members, users, setting priorities and statement limits, establishing source connections, and acquiring data and models. In SAP Datasphere, everything happens within these spaces to keep things safe. Data and models in space stay private unless shared with other spaces or made available for use by BI tools or other systems. What are the space types and important configuration parameters? Space type. SAP Datasphere. Required space type, and the administrator can only create spaces of type SAP Datasphere. Multiple spaces can be created and configured. Optional space type, SAP Datasphere. Embedded data lake access. The administrator must select a space connecting to the embedded HANA data lake. Checkbox setting. Use this space to access the data lake. Only one space can have access and can only write data to the embedded SAP HANA data lake. Optional space type. SAP BW Bridge. SAP BW Bridge provisioning generates a dedicated space for exposing BW Bridge objects as remote tables to other SAP Datasphere spaces, allowing the connection of a single SAP BW Bridge system to SAP Datasphere. Space organization scenarios. Examples. Line of business. Multiple spaces can be created like sales, marketing, supply chain, finance, HR, service, analytics, IT management, etc. To follow central governance, separate space for admin and permissions for data security, data access control is recommended. Administration space. Only admin users will be members for authorization and monitoring. Auditor to access audit logs and tenant activities. Admin security developer creates DACAs and assigns them to data builder views to enable data security, row-level security. Specific restricted views are shared with the LOB spaces, example sales, marketing. That way only specific business data with row-level security is available to consume for the business users. Benefits. Granular control limits access to authorized personnel, example, business or security admins, who manage specific values. Developer flexibility enables developers to work efficiently without authorization restrictions. Secure business consumption provides secure access for users who only need to consume data, ensuring they see only relevant information. Permission space. A centralized approach with only assigned users will manage the authorization values table for the data access control for all LOB spaces. Protection against unauthorized access and value maintenance from common users. Share and expose authorization value tables views to administration or IT space. Centra's lead IT space. A centralized IT space can be created with connection to multiple sources: SAP S/4HANA, SAP BW, SAP SuccessFactors, SAP Concur, Salesforce, Google BQ, etc. Data is made available as remote tables or replicated tables and modeling using a data builder. Consume the permission space shared table and create the permission views. Create a data access control object and assign it to view, example, sales view. Share the views with different lob spaces like the sales view with the sales department space, departments. Similar to lob space concept with centralized governance. Create multiple spaces for the key departments in your organization like IT, finance, marketing, operations management, HR, sales, purchasing, etc., and a dedicated permission space for data security. Data domains. Create spaces for different data segments like customer data, product data, sales data, financial planning analysis, FPA, social data, streaming data, financial data, HR data, and manufacturing data. Enable data sharing among these spaces to encourage reuse while ensuring sensitive data is protected using methods like data masking and authorization. The permission space authorization table, managed by designated security and administrative users, controls access rights for sharing data across these spaces. Single SAP Datasphere tenant for development and testing using the space concept. Leveraging the spaces concept makes it feasible to utilize a single SAP Datasphere tenant for both development and testing purposes. However, it's advisable to adopt a 3-tier tenant landscape for development, testing, and production scenarios. Using at least 2 distinct SAP Datasphere tenants for your data landscape is recommended. This strategy ensures a distinct segregation between your development and testing environment and your production environment. The Dev Test tenant provides a dedicated platform for constructing and validating data models and transformations, safeguarding your production data integrity as the ultimate source of truth. It can be used for small deployments and the initial phase of the project. Not an ideal approach from the object transport and life cycle management perspective. Manual import-export of the objects, CSN/JSON, files across the spaces. From SAP Datasphere Dev QA tenant to prod tenant, transport content network is used. With the SAP BW bridge, customers with investments in SAP BW and BW for HANA who aim to harness the advantages of cloud-based data warehousing can opt for the SAP BW Bridge feature. Enabling these optional features in SAP Datasphere results in the creation of a dedicated space within the tenant for importing BW Bridge objects as remote tables, which can then be shared with other spaces. Unlike the standard SAP Datasphere space type, creating data builder objects in the SAP Datasphere BW Grid space is not permitted. Importing remote tables is allowed in the BW Grid space, and it's advisable to maintain a separate space from a governance perspective. In this setup, Space ITBW models automatically generate SAP Datasphere objects through the entities import feature for corresponding BW queries, info providers, ADS, OS, etc. The created objects can be shared with the target line of business space via cross-space sharing capabilities. Consequently, original BW Grid objects belong to the BW Grid space type, while created objects are part of the ITBW model managed space. General space guidelines. Multiple spaces. It is advisable to create multiple spaces within your tenant for efficient organization of data and resources. Segregate access with dedicated spaces. Establish separate spaces for administrator, IT, and security permissions, along with multiple spaces for departments, projects, lines of business, data domains, etc. This practice aids in controlling access to sensitive data and maintaining stability across various environments for distinct purposes. Maximize cross-space sharing for reusable data and models. SAP Datasphere facilitates sharing tables, views, and models across spaces within the same tenant, fostering reusability and mitigating data duplication. For instance, refrain from accessing or replicating the same SAP S/4HANA CDS view or tables like ADDOCA into multiple SAP Datasphere spaces, as this can strain your SAP S/4HANA system and lead to data duplication within SAP Datasphere. Instead, adopt the strategy of replicating once and consuming n times across spaces. Considerations for space restrictions, direct sharing of data source connections, data flows, transformation flows, replication flows, and task chains between spaces is not supported. If necessary, these elements must be recreated within each space individually. Additionally, objects cannot be copied or pasted from one space to another. Importing and exporting data builder objects in CSV/JSON files. Thank you.